team, the ritual team, the practitioners who help the space, and all of you who participated in our 24-hour vigil and the Burning Bowl Seminary ceremony on January 1st. I'm so excited about it. It was really, really awesome. We had an opportunity to release the old and set some intentions for the new, and we're going to carry on with that theme today as we are moving into our new theme. As you know, it's our journal, the Joyous Living Journal, that Christian and I have just published. So this is our annual theme, and we invite you to every day journal with us. We'll be using it on Sundays. We'll be using it in the Wednesday night series, and really inviting you to just walk with us throughout the year as we go deeper into joyous living. And then every month we'll have a companion book. Something that will be about the topic or theme for the month. And this month, we're using Living Without Fear by Ernest Holmes. This is an extraordinary little book of some of Ernest Holmes' later writings. It was actually put together and published after he passed away. Living Without Fear, that would be sort of the cornerstone of joyous living, don't you think? Yeah. So that feels like a perfect place to start. So we just invite you to just move with us through this year as we go deeper and use the books as a way to stay connected with the theme and what we're talking about during the week, between Sundays and between the offerings that are about those topics. All right, so we've welcomed the theme. Now we'd like to welcome any of you who are here for the first time. If this is your first Sunday with us, we'd love to welcome you. The ushers have a gift to give you.
Hi, I'm Petra Weldes, Senior Minister of the Center for Spiritual Living in Dallas, and we're delighted that you found us here on the web. You can find our Sunday services on our website by every Wednesday, and we love that you can look at us online and explore these spiritual teachings. Feel free to explore our archives. It goes back a number of years with lots of special topics and amazing speakers. You can also sign up for our email news, My Daily Words, and my blog, Spiritual Living with Dr. Petra. If you're looking for a spiritual community, come visit us. Or if you're just in Dallas, drop on by. We'd love to give you a hug. Welcome home.
So, we are working on, as we move into joyous living. What does it mean this year as we take up this theme? We'll be talking about all kinds of different aspects and areas of our life, and how we move into greater joy and have an experience of joyous living. And part of that is deciding what our vision is for our life. What does it look like to have a joyous life? What does it feel like to you? What are you wanting to experience and express? If you think in your own life, I want to have a joyous life, I want to experience joyous living. And part of the question might be, am I experiencing that now? Am I experiencing that now? And if so, let's celebrate those places where we are experiencing it. And if not, what needs to change? What needs to be released, let go of, as we sung this, so beautifully at the beginning of the service? What do we need to let go of? What do we need to then invite into our lives to allow us to move into this place of joyous living? I want to start out with reading to you from today, Joy Plus Vision, Your Next Dance. That is really the dance that we're about. It's the experience of being in the moment while knowing that we're going someplace. It's amazing to me how challenging that dance can be. What a paradox that is. One of the most common questions that I get asked when we talk about really experiencing our joy, really being in the present moment, is, well, then how do I plan for my future? How do I think about what I want to do? How does visioning and being about my vision fit with being in the moment? And other people are so engrossed in their vision and their purpose, and they ask me, well, I don't really know how to live in the moment because I'm like so focused focused on where I'm going, what I'm doing. So this comes from today's reading in Joyous Living. The balance of joy and vision is a great combination. Vision will keep you from getting stuck in life. And joy brings the intriguing celebration and appreciative energy to the manifest experience. It is the honoring of the presence in the present moment while being open to the greater yet to be, looking to be manifest. So do you see, for me, one of my experiences with spiritual living is that inevitably it feels to me like every question resolves itself into the paradox of both and. So do I live in the now or do I work with my vision? The answer to that question? Yes. That would be true. So I think of it a little bit like taking a trip. You know, I just went on my sabbatical this past summer, this past fall. I went on 3-month sabbatical, and it was just an extraordinary experience, and I didn't want to overplan it. I really wanted to be present in the moment. But you know, I'm not 18 carrying a backpack, and I did not want to end up on a park bench someplace in the middle of the night. So I actually planned where I was going to lay my head every single night. I knew exactly where I was going to lay my head every night. I had, you know, a week here and 10 days there and 4 days here, whatever it was, and I had my place picked out where I was going to, I made my reservation where I was going to lay my head. And I knew how I was going to get to Europe and back. And that was it. That's what I knew. That was my vision, my plan, and I spent a lot of lovely time exploring that, putting that all together. It was like taking the trip ahead of time. It was really great. The greater yet to be, this experience, right? And we have to do that. And then there's the process of actually engaging in the experience. So then I got to fly over there, and I actually got to experience every day, and the magic of every day, and the mystery of how every day was going to unfold within the context of this larger vision that I had created, this larger idea. You see? So, allowing ourselves to experience joyous living, we actually want to find a way to embrace the paradox, both sides of this way of being in the world. That we are present to the moment, experiencing it, reveling in it, savoring it, or perhaps looking at it, looking at what's not working, looking clear-eyed at what's keeping us stuck or where there's no movement. Being willing to see it for what it is. Being present in the moment really allows us to be present with what is, not to be afraid of what is. And so this is why we're starting this year with the companion book, Living Without Fear. Because I would submit to you that the thing that keeps us from joyous living is our fear. That's it. It's our fear. It's our fear of change. It's our fear of not being good enough. It's our fear of being stuck. It's our fear of not having it work out. It's our fear. This is from the introduction, which is actually written by an editor, original editor of the Science Mind magazine, Willis Kinnear. This is the introduction from this book. We spend most of our lives trying to avoid what we do not like and seeking to experience more of those things that bring us pleasure, happiness, and well-being. However, in doing this, we find ourselves in an almost continual state of fear in one or more of its many forms. We fear what we do not like. And also, we fear we will not have what we do like or want. Worry, crisis, and anxiety seem to plague most people, often to the extent that life is something to be suffered through rather than to be lived with joy. This does not mean that we shall ever be free of all of our problems, but rather that life and living present a continual challenge which we should learn to master instead of allowing it to master us. He says this: the escape from fear does not involve a retreat from living, but it does mean that our reactions to experiences should not be allowed to overwhelm us, but should lead to constructive action. That's spiritual living. being willing to be present in the moment and seeing it for what it is. Enjoying what's really working, enjoying the beauty, enjoying the life and the expression of life as it's flowing through us, and also being willing to say, and here, this is not what I want, this is not how I'm expecting it to go, this is not where I'm experiencing my joy. Sometimes I think that we are a little superstitious in the science of mind. Ernest Holmes, when he was writing in the 20s and 30s, and part of what he was trying to do is he was trying to release us from this belief that if we were just good enough, God would favor us. That's superstition. In psychology, they call it magical thinking. If I could just do it right, then he would love me. If I could just say the right words, then she would be okay with what I was doing. This is called magical thinking. And in the science of mind, we can be a little superstitious. We can think that, well, if I meditate right, or if I'm just a loving enough person, if I just focus from my heart on love, then somehow God will favor me and lay my good on me. God's already favoring you and laying its good on you. You're here. You're alive. You have breath and life. You have love to give and joy to experience. You have the abundance of the universe as your playground. You have the Play-Doh of life to mold and shape at your will. God is already laying all the good on you. The question is, are we taking it? Are we shaping it? Are we participating in it? We do not want to be superstitious. We do not want to be afraid to look at what's not working in our life. We do not want to be afraid to claim what it is that we want. We do not want to allow our lives to be run by this fear, this worry, this anxiety. What if it doesn't work out? What if it's not the right thing? What if I make a mistake? What if I should have stayed when I wanted to go? What if I should have gone when I wanted to stay? What about all of these ways in which we create this anxiety in our own lives? We actually have to look at it. Look at what's going on. And we have to understand our participation in it, our process, our co-creative process with this universal power and presence. So Ernest Holmes, he writes this: the religionist is superstitious when he believes that God works outside of nature or contrary to it. Right? That's when we beg God. We say, look, I've been a nice person, so I need for this thing to happen. Or we say, that person has not been a nice person, I need for that thing to happen to them. And a scientist is superstitious when he believes that there is any natural existence which is exclusive or outside of the supernatural, the spiritual. Science of mind teaches that the spiritual world, science of mind teaches that the supernatural world is the spiritual world, and it's the same time the spiritual world permeates the natural world. One is the cause, and the other is the effect. In the science of mind, when we understand spiritual living, do you see? We understand that it is here that consciousness is made manifest. It is here, as each one of us, that consciousness actually begins to consciously choose. At the macrocosmic level, this creative process, this natural law is going on all of the time. It doesn't, and we don't have to turn it on or off. We don't have to pray for gravity to keep us held to the ground. We don't have to pray for electricity to work. We just have to understand it and use it. And the more that we understand it, the more about it that we understand, the more creatively we can use it. But we have to decide what we want to use it for. We have to be willing to experiment. We have to be willing to have things not work out. Right? Thomas Edison, how many times did the light bulb not work out? Until finally it did. Because we are not superstitious. We're not hoping that God will favor us because we've been a good person, because we've been a nice person. We're good and nice because that is the appropriate way to be when we are being the love of the universe manifesting itself. And when we are looking to expand and experience our life, then we must engage with this universal law, the law of cause and effect. It says it is done unto us as we believe, as we think, as we speak, as we act. We are constantly participating in this co-creative process. And there is nothing superstitious that we need to be afraid of to look and say, this is working, hip, hip, hooray. This is not working. What do I need to do about it? I have people who have said to me, I don't ever talk about what's going well in my life because I'm afraid I'm going to jinx it. Yeah? Mm-hmm. That's called superstition. Well, I'm not going to look at what's not working in my life. I'm just going to pretend it's not there. I'm not going to look at it. That's also called superstition. The law of cause and effect is a principle that we can use, we can understand, we can rely upon, and we do not have to be afraid of it. Actually, it is the thing that allows us to engage in constructive action, because we are actually utilizing a principle that we can trust. Ernest Holmes says this: we do not change the nature of reality through prayer, and it would be superstitious to suppose that we can or do, but through prayer and meditation we enter into the nature of reality and partake of this nature. You see, our prayer, our spiritual mind treatment, our meditation, our spiritual practices, all the things that we do to remember, to realign with the spiritual truths, these are the things that open us to the co-creative power, to the universal law of cause and effect that we're participating in, that we're actually actively engaged with in our own lives. So it's the process of participating in that that is what allows us to move into the greater yet to be, that allows us to move into our vision, that allows us to say, this is the life that I want to experience. This is the life. This is where I'm going. And not to be afraid to make our claim on the universe. Sometimes I really do feel like in my prayer or in my affirmations, I'm like drawing a line in the sand. Or I'm like staking a claim on this idea that I have about the kind of life that I want to have, or the kind of experience I want to have in a particular situation. It's like I stake my claim here, and here we stand, and we stand here on this claim until the universal law manifests it for us. Sometimes that's instantaneous. Sometimes all the molecules of the universe have to be rearranged, and that might take just a little bit of time in the space-time continuum. Right? But we trust the process because we've staked our claim and we are using an immutable law, a universal principle that we know and can trust. As well as unconsciously as we use gravity. You see, we're using the law all the time. We're constantly co-creating with the universe. We're constantly co-creating with this law. The point is we want to become conscious about it. And we want to not be superstitious about the use of the law. Well, if I just meditate and think nice thoughts and am a good person, then somehow God's going to reward me. Yeah, we don't believe that that's how it works. God has already rewarded you. It is you. The divine magnificence of the universe is showing up as you. That is the reward. And the reward is that you can actually utilize this law in your life in a conscious and deliberate manner to create the life that you choose. And you are free to choose any life you want. A life that brings you joy. A life that fills you. a life that has a meaningful contribution to the world, a life that makes sense to you and feels like it matters. And it's your life. It's your life, and you get to choose. Not waiting for God to somehow make it up for us. This was January 4th. If you've been working along in the journal, you've already come across this. This is January 4th. Believe in your vision. This vision, this desire, is the fire in your belly and the vision in your heart that you have for what you want to make of your life. What you want to make of your life. And I don't mean make here as in force, but make here as in choose. The fire in your belly, the vision in your heart that you have for what you want to make of your life. Now, so often, part of what happens is people think about, well, I have to have this vision for my life, and they get stuck in the form. Like, that means I have to lose 25 pounds, or that means I have to have this kind of job, or I have to participate in this particular kind of community service. And that's really not it. There are so many forms that can express the life that we want to make for ourselves. The life that feels fulfilling and meaningful and joyous and is a contribution to the world and is a contribution to our own experience of joy. This is the life that we are invited to make. We are free to make. Actually, we are here to make, because that's how the universe experiences itself. That's how the universe expresses itself in the unique way that you make your life. And you see, as you're doing that, that's how we live in the moment. We live in the moment and we experience the joy of the moment by going, wow, look, I made this life and now I'm living it. Wow, look, I planned this trip and now I'm living it. Wow, look, I set this intention and now I'm doing the process of living into that vision. You've heard me say it before. I've said this so many times. I learned this climbing the mountains. I learned this climbing the mountains. My vision was, I'm going to do this walk, whatever this walk is, whatever this hike is, wherever I'm going. I'm going to get from here to there. Okay, that's the vision. I'm going to get from here to there. The joy is, wow, this step, look at that flower. This step, wow, the sun's shining. This step, oh, we're having an afternoon rain. Isn't that fun? This step, oh, it's a little muddy. This step, oh, look, there's a beautiful wild animal. Do you see? That's the joy. The joy is the journey. The joy is the experience of the process as the vision is unfolding, as we are drawn toward the vision. But we have to believe in our vision, and we have to believe in ourselves and our ability to walk the path, and our ability to be supported by this divine presence and power, and our willingness to be moved ourselves and changed ourselves as a part of becoming this greater yet to be. And the joy is like, wow, look at that. I didn't know that. That's how it's going to turn out. I didn't know it was going to look like this. I didn't know I was going to be asked to become this, whatever this is. Who knew? Who knew I was going to have to public speak in my job? Who knew that I was going to have to be creative on my website? Who knew? Whatever it is. That we were afraid 2 days ago we were going to mess up. We were afraid 2 weeks ago we didn't know how to do it. We were afraid 2 months ago to even look at that we might be called into that. Do you see? The vision pulls us through that, and we find our joy in the moment of exploring it, experiencing it, and expressing it. And so the paradox is that they're both true simultaneously. That's the dance. That's the dance of life that we're having with life and that we're having with ourselves and that we're having with the principle and the presence. That's the dance that we're engaged in. So there's one last thing that feels really important about all of this. And So here's my question. You don't actually have to raise your hand. You could just think about this. How many of you have already made New Year's resolutions and you have like 7 of them? I'm going to lose weight, get my finances handled, I'm going to get a new job, I'm going to comb my hair, and I'm going to find a new partner. Get a new car, okay? The list goes on and on and on. So the challenge with this is this would be like saying, I'm going to climb Mount Everest, Mount Rainier, and Mount Kilimanjaro, like today, all at the same time. Yeah, and we laugh, right? And we think, okay, it's ludicrous. Well, this is what we do. This is, I call the shotgun approach to fixing my life. I'm just going to fix it all at once. And how many of us, again, you don't have to raise your hand, how many of us have discovered that on February 1st, we are no longer paying attention to any of the things that we said on January 1st? Because it was too much. It was too much. It was too much. And all we are doing is beating ourselves up with it. All we're doing is reminding ourselves in all the ways in which our life isn't working or we think we're not doing it right. So when we take this journey, when we climb a mountain, we pick one. You've heard me talk about it before, and I will talk about it again and again and again and again and again. We pick one thing. Pick one thing. Pick something that will bring you more joy and move towards it. Pick one thing that you would like to have different in your life and focus on how are you going to have it be different. Pick one thing. Okay, so for me, I always pick one thing. I usually pick one thing at work and one thing at home. One thing personal and one thing career-wise. But it's one thing in each area of my life. One thing to focus on. So that we are intensifying our intention. We're intensifying our use of the law. We're giving it a cause, and we're focusing on that cause over and over and over again so that it can be strengthened, so that this cause becomes a powerful spiritual seed that the law is then bringing into fruition. One thing. This comes from January 3rd. What do you want to do, have, or create or experience this year? Take some time to really think about all the things you said you'd like to have different or to work on, and now pick the one thing you will focus on. Focused intention is the most powerful force in the universe. It's like taking a garden hose. And, you know, if you put the spray really wide, it's a gentle rain, and it's really lovely, and it rains down all the plants, and that's really great. And when we have our hose on wide with that gentle rain, that's like the joy of experiencing life. Just being in the moment, letting it be what it is, being present to what it is. When we pick that one thing, that's like we've tightened down on the spray nozzle until it's so strong, it's such a strong force that we can now basically take the paint off our house or clean our deck, right? It's that powerful lasered force. That's what our vision gives us. That's what choosing that thing that we're moving toward. You know, I want to retract that statement. Not the thing, not the form, but choosing the kind of life experience that we want to have, the quality of life experience, the life that we want to make in this particular area or around that particular thing. So it's like saying, okay, I'm going to take my job. I'm going to look at my job, and it's either working well and I'm going to focus on having it be more abundant, or I'm going to focus on having it create a greater contribution, or I'm going to focus on it growing. Do you see, that's one thing. It's a quality of experience of the life that I want to make. Or I could say, I'm going to look at my job and I'm going to look clear-eyed at it and say, you know what, there are things about this that just aren't working for me. They're just not. There's something about this that's not working for me. There's a place where joy is running out of this experience. So I'm going to focus on the kind of job experience that I want to have that allows me to feel my joy, whether it's this job or not. Whether it's doing something different or doing the same thing differently. Do you see, I don't have to know those things if we're focused on the experience of life that we're seeking to create. That's our vision. That's our lasered focus. And then, moment by moment, we take the step. Oh, this step is called for now. Oh, I think this step is being called for now. And this is when we are in the gentle reign of our experience. And we're not being superstitious about it. So we're not afraid to experience whatever there is, good, bad, or indifferent. We're not afraid to tell the truth about it. This brings me joy, this does not bring me joy. We're not afraid of the consequences of making our choices because we trust the law is moving us in the direction of our greater yet to be. Do you see? That's the dance. That's the dance that we're involved in. And unlike a race, it's not about winning or losing. You know, and the truth is, it's not about doing it right. It's about living it. It's about living it to the fullest that we can live it. It's about bringing all of ourselves to it, good, bad, or indifferent. It's about absolutely being fully present to what is and letting it be exactly what it is, and then being willing to make choices about it. And we know that we can make those choices because we stand in the middle of an immutable, absolutely trustworthy principle that will and does already support us. So this week, I invite you to look at your resolutions for the year, if you've already made them, or if you haven't yet made them, to look at your intention for this year. Pick the thing that you're willing to focus on. Pick the vision, the one thing that you want to work toward. And again, maybe there's one thing at work and one thing in your personal life. Whatever, pick that. Allow yourself to be drawn towards that. But this week, become focused on it. And then invite yourself into the dance of enjoying the unfolding. Let us pray. So, just taking a deep breath now. Taking a deep breath with me. In our form of affirmative prayer, spiritual mind treatment, we begin by remembering this deep and profound spiritual truth. That there is one presence, one principle, one life, one power, one love in the universe. It's the heartbeat of all creation. It's the ground of being from which all of life springs. It is the impulsion of love. It is the absolute desire for expression. And it is the wisdom and intelligence that guides all of creation. It is the wisdom that is contained within the acorn that knows how to become the oak tree. It's the wisdom that keeps the planets revolving in their beautiful orbits and all of the stars unfolding as they should. It is the consciousness behind evolution itself. And it's all about love and growth and joy. And that life, that truth, that presence, that principle is my life and your life. It is the life of every person on this planet. It is the life of all beings everywhere. My life and your life is the same life, the same love, the same joy, seeking to express itself as only you can. You are an individual equalized expression in the divine, just like I am, just like all beings everywhere. And we are called to express this life fully, joyously, and completely, to the best of our ability, every moment of every day. So today in this prayer, in this spiritual mind treatment, we affirm and declare that we stake our claim here in the presence of joy. We draw a line in the sand and say it is for love that we have come. It is for life. It is to contribute our gift. And we expect, we claim, actually we demand from the law the perfect way to unfold this love, the perfect way to express our gift, the perfect experience of this joy in our lives right now today. And as we affirm this, we trust that the law is immediately making this manifest. Right here, right now, in this moment, and in every moment that comes beyond this, as we move forward in our lives, trusting that the law is making this crooked way straight, is building the path before us as we step onto it, is already moving us in the direction of our dreams. We say yes to that call, just as we say yes to this moment, this beautiful and precious moment. Here we are together, speaking truth, being love. Right now it's enough. This moment of joy and presence, it's enough. Right here, right now. And so we call it good. We call it good because this moment is good. We call it good because we know the vision is good. We call it good because we know the law is unfolding us into our vision. We call it good because we trust the process. We trust the principle. And we trust presence. And in that perfect faith and trust, we can simply release it. Letting go of any fear, any doubt, letting go of any old ideas or past thoughts or old beliefs, anything that's hanging around in the subconscious mind, we simply release these because we have set a new cause in motion, planted a new seed. And we stand in trust and faith that it is already beginning to bloom. And what a joyous place that is to stand. And so we live in joy right here, right now, in this moment. And we live in joy every moment as we walk in trust and faith. We seal this prayer with truth and faith as we say together, and so it is.